I continue to say this. Some people should never be in a relationship. It's okay to be single. It's okay to be single because some of you cannot hold out, as in some of you have no self-discipline. Some of you have no coping skills. Some of you feel like violence comes with love. You're not ready for love. You're not ready to be cheated on. You're not ready to go through the ups and downs of a relationship without taking somebody's life. And on the flip side of that, some of you are just dogs. Some of you will always be just that. You're still in that phase of your life. You see no changes coming yet. And in the end, the result is always bad. Not everybody reacts the same way to getting played and getting their feelings hurt and investing in you and loving you and trusting you and then being laughed at behind their backs. Some people will send you to the morgue. I don't know if that's what happened in this story, but it's something along these lines. Whole lot of suspicion and a whole lot of jealousy. Either way, it ended badly. And guess what? Two Jamaicans in New York, in the United States of America. So this brother left Jamaica now and brought his same thing to the United States of America. An enraged Bronx man is how they described him in U.S. news media, fatally stabbed the mother of his two daughters over the weekend because he thought that she was cheating on him. And this is according to the police report affidavit. After they arrest you, they have to do some questioning, and whatever answers you give at the moment is placed on the affidavit. Also, they talk to people who are close to the situation, and whatever comes up is placed on the affidavit. Reason for arrest. That's where we get the information from, okay? He thought she was cheating on him. This is the mother of your two children. So even if you thought this woman was cheating on you, you decided to take away the mother of your children from your children, traumatizing your children for life to please your own feelings because you thought she was cheating. A child described as family was home at the time of the attack. Although it's unclear whether the youngster was one of the couple's kids, the news media said it looks like it was one of their children who was in the house when he took her life. Khalil Cooper, 39 years old. She's accused. Khalil Cooper is the young man or the man. He's accused of taking the life of 40-year-old Tamara Rowe. He stabbed her in her chest, in her right arm as well, in their 6th floor apartment in East 232nd Street near White Plains Road in Wakefield in New York on Saturday, the police has said. They said that apparently she was trying to fight and she had defensive wounds. Hence the reason why the stab wounds were in her hand as well. She holding up her hand trying not to get stabbed and ended up getting stabbed up anyways to death. Mother of your two children. Rose's brother, which is the victim, Tamara's brother, he called 911 when he found out that his sister's lifeless body was laying there during a wellness check in the apartment around 8:35 p.m. Apparently, they're used to talking, communicating constantly, and his sister just dropped out of the loop. And he was like, nah, man, something wrong. Let me go around there and check and see how Tamara doing, if she all right and if everything good. And when he went, this is what he walked into. He called medical. She was rushed to the Montefiore Medical Center, but she succumbed to her injuries. The story says that the couple met in Jamaica They were born and raised in Jamaica, both of them. And they were sweethearts. And they even had their first daughter, who is now either 9 or 10 years old. And then they had their second child, now 2.5 years old. That's a baby. 2.5 years old. In the US. First child was born in Jamaica. Second child in the US. According to a female relative who did not want to be identified for this interview, just giving a background on who the couple is. You know, I always say, I watch couples, as long as they stay in Jamaica, they will stay together. I don't know if it's the struggles and if it's because of societal norms. You know, in Jamaica, everything that you see that is disgusting, cheating, infidelity, breaking up your marriage, destroying your family, believe it or not, even though it seems so prevalent in the society today, and everybody is out on Front Street with their bedrooms today, it is still shunned up on. I don't know what it is, but people tend to stay together and make their relationship work once they stay in Jamaica. Most people. Not saying that there aren't breakups and divorces in Jamaica, because there certainly are. But most people, when they lock in, they lock in. I find that when these same couples migrate to the United States of America, then their relationships are short-lived. I don't know if it's because they come to the US and they find other people more attractive than who they have, or they think that these people who they're seeing around them can give them something more than the person they're with. It's a greater variety of temptation, you know, whatever the case may be. Most of these marriages end up failing. That's another thing to look into when you're deciding to migrate to the United States of America. Some families do make it, but many families fall apart. It is said that Cooper had planned to start a trucking business as his family had in Jamaica, but he decided against it since Roe wasn't a fan of the idea. Cooper is the one that took Roe's life. He wanted to start a trucking company in the US because his family has a trucking company in Jamaica. It's right up his alley. It's what he grew up being used to. He could get expertise from his family. She talked him out of it. She's not a fan of it. She's not investing anything in it. She don't think it was going to go anywhere. She just think, you need to find something else to do because that not going to work. I not think that going to work. Some people will look at this as a dream killer. And whether she came off as such or not, that's like one of the worst people to be with. Someone that's a dream killer, whether they are husband or wife, whether they're male or female, vice versa, dream killer. You know, even to have as friends around you. If you say to your friends, yeah man, I'm going to start a restaurant, you know, because you know, me love cook and them thing there. And the first thing you hear out your friend's mouth is, you can cook still, you know, but I don't think you can cook good enough for one restaurant. I think you need to try something else. You know, that friend never even stopped to think that maybe I have some money saved up and I can hire somebody to cook, you know. Never said me I go cook for the restaurant all the time. Just to see how quick you kill my dream or shoot it down just by me suggesting it. You don't even want to hear the details. Dream killers. If you're in a relationship and you have a dream killer, please be advised that that relationship is probably going to end, if not sooner, later. Because humans naturally want to experience and accomplish the things they dream of for themselves. So anytime you put yourself with somebody who is not encouraging you to go for that which you dream for yourself, resentment is going to build. And there's a thing in relationships that is called silent resentment. Silent resentment is the things you hate your partner for, but there is no common ground, so you will never speak about it. You know, like how in a healthy relationship, you can sit with your partner and say, babes, I could talk about this. You know, so this is bothering me because you said you don't think a truck company would work if I started one. But you know already, say, if you even start that conversation, it's going to end up being into an argument or there's no common ground. Therefore, you know that that's not going to go any further than where it's at. So you're stuck and it starts to build resentment. Silent resentment is a wicked thing in a relationship. Silent resentment is the reason why a lot of people cheat, because they can't come to their partner and say, listen, let's talk about what's going on with us. You know, I don't feel attracted to you like that anymore because you do this and you do that and it's a big turnoff and constant disrespect. And then your partner could say, you know what I'm saying, let me listen to you and hear what you're saying and try to fix that. Instead of come back with, well, you do something too and me do something too. And silent resentment. As long as there's no common ground, silent resentment. People end up killing over silent resentment. You start to drift apart. You can't speak about stuff. Suspicions start to develop in your mind. I wonder if she's cheating on me. You know, so this look like, say, she a give me bun. This look like, say, him a cheat, right? And then you start to hate even more. Don't touch me, because I don't know where you're coming from. Come on, man. We're grown people around here. We know what I'm talking about. You who are listening right now know exactly what SouFLoTV is talking about. All these little red flags are the little red flags that we ignore, or we try to sweep under the carpet, or we fan the flames and then them blow up big in our faces, right? Ro, the wife who lost her life, meanwhile, she worked the night shift at a Queen's restaurant, and Cooper grew suspicious when a man brought her home one night from work. Her brother told the police. So it's not even like they came to the US and they're in any high-end career fields, right? They obviously are still at that level. She's working night shift at a restaurant. I don't know what she's doing there, right? A man brought her home one night and her husband lost his shit. Ro, the wife who lost her life, usually takes Metro North. And she wasn't calling Cooper as much either, the relatives said. I guess they were arguing at home, and you know, one of those things where wife is say, me not call you, no, me not even a chat to you. Right now, me bex. Me find somebody bring me home. And ended up a dude from work dropped her home, and he saw. And he felt like, I stopped my life for you. You and I would eventually get married, the family member said. He felt like she was sneaking around and he didn't like it. So they have 2 children, they're not married. They're planning on being married, from what I'm gathering so far. I'm guessing maybe he's thinking right here that, well, just like what SouFLo said, we would have lost if we were in Jamaica. But it looked like she come to America and find somebody now. So here I stand to lose this person whom I know from way back when, who we were so tight and in love when we were in Jamaica, that we decided to migrate together and build a world together. And now y'all move sneaky. Big argument in the house, you don't even want to talk it out no more. You have a man who will drop you home at night time from work. You see, I'm not blaming the victim here. I'm just telling y'all that 1 + 1 always equals 2. I'm also just telling you that if you don't want to be considered a cheater, don't move like a cheater. People will do these things, right? And then they'll say to you, well, I don't care what you think. I'm not doing anything. Well, here's the problem. You have to care what the other person thinks. That's your partner. You decided to be in that relationship with that person. So you can't be in a relationship with another person and say, I don't care what you think. Me no say me nah do nothing. But you're moving like you're doing something. Because you see, often it's not what you say, it's more like what you do. And people tend to believe what they see more than what they hear. You understand? Right. So if you create that narrative, big fight in your house all the time, silent resentment, can't have a conversation about things, no room to fix anything, feels like it's all breaking apart to the point where you're like two strangers in the same house. Yeah, we have two kids here with us in the house, but we're Bex, so we're not even talking to each other for days. And now you're starting to have some guy drop you home in the middle of the night because you work night shift. So I'm guessing you get off like early morning hours or late night hours. That don't look good. Of course, there's no excuse to take somebody's life in that manner. If you're feeling like it's the end of the road and there's no solution, you should leave. However, like I said in the beginning of this video, not everybody takes stuff the same way. According to family members, he felt like she shot down his dream and he gave up all that he was going to do for her, and now she is stepping out. He feel like she's sneaking around. Tensions came to a head when Cooper claimed that he put a recorder under the bed in their house and actually captured her having sex with another man in their house. So according to the story, it says that he placed a recorder under the bed. He caught her. He confronted her about it. She still denied it anyways. I don't know, your recorder makes sounds by itself. The family member says, he told me, man, he loved her so much. He said, we don't have any issues. He was even crying. That's how hurt he was. Well, I don't know what his family member think, but sometimes when people cry, it's not because they're hurt. Sometimes when people cry, it's a part of their manipulation game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So because you see my cry don't mean I'm hurt. Cooper was charged with murder and manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child because there was a child in the house who was thought to be their youngest child when the incident took place, and criminal possession of a weapon in a slaying. He has no prior arrest. He has no prior run-ins with the law. His record is squeaky clean. His arraignment in the Bronx Criminal Court was pending until next week, Tuesday. We never thought that it would be stabbing and killing. One relative said, we could have never guessed that that would come out of this relationship with these two. I'm sad that she's no longer with us, but I also feel bad for him too because nobody deserves that. The way she treated him, but also nobody deserves to die. I was not there. I'm going off of what's been put out. And what's been put out is she was at wit's end with the relationship, and she basically got to the point, you know when you've moved on but you haven't moved? Moved on but not moved. So when he's not there, man coming into the house, him hurrying back to try to see if his suspicions are true, set up surveillance, get evidence, heartbroken, talk to him any way she feel like, don't want to work out nothing, don't even call him to come pick her up when she get off work anymore, just have a man drop her home. He's probably inside sometimes peeping through the blinds and witnessing her jumping out of some guy's car. Now the couple's two girls have lost everything. Everything. Because daddy is going to prison for sure. This is the United States of America. And mommy is going to the grave. They didn't just lose their mom. They lost both parents. And again, this is what I always say. Adults, I hear them all the time. Me, I love my children. I'll do anything in the world for my kids. And then you watch them make choices that are clearly selfish. All about them. Don't have nothing to do with the kids. If you truly loved your children, you would never kill their parent, their mom, their mother, the woman who gave birth to them, especially if she was a good mom to them, but is just a frigged up wife to you. And you know, these things, I don't know if that can actually happen. People claim that it's true and it can. I can't see it because it takes a good person to be a good spouse. And usually, when a person is a shitty parent, father or mother, they're normally also shitty towards the children. Don't quote me on that. You could run with the cliche, what they say. He could be a good dad, but a bad husband? Nah. That's somebody using that for their own gain. If he's a good husband, if he's a good dad, he's usually a good husband as well. You're just not listen to him. You're not willing to follow him, lead, or work with him. So you put him in a good dad, because you can't say he's a bad dad, because the kids will say you're lying. But he's a bad husband, because you can't own that, and the kids can't tell the world if he's a bad husband or not, because he's not their husband, he's their dad. Same thing vice versa for a wife. So I don't think you can be a bad mom to your kids, but an awesome wife. That's reality. Captain America said, I'm sorry, folks. Taxes just went up. Another one of these folks that we have to pay for the next 20 years. Most of them were permitted 20 arrests under the I ain't did nothing defense. In other words, they're saying, these are two immigrants. Bury one, send the other one back to where they come from. Let's not have this be a U.S. taxpayer's bill to house him in prison for the next 20 or how many years he gets. Right now, the immigration landscape, people are cold. Hunter's laptop said, this is why we don't mesh. One culture who embraces a history of solving all their problems, no matter how small, with violence, and another culture who formerly used to hash things out by speaking intelligently to each other, but who now embraces the formerly spoken of solution of violence. Our once peaceful culture is slowly changing to solving problems with violence because we're being forced to mesh. Well, I don't know if that applies to this case because they're both from Jamaica. And yeah, our culture that used to be easing a man, irony, alright man, I say a word man. Bless up same way. That culture now has turned into, if we disagree on the simplest of things, a lot of the times anger and then violence is used. So yeah, but I don't know about the forced to mesh part. They were a couple before they even came to the US. The last comment I'll read is somebody says, this is a perfect example of what certain people consider to be love. Yes, and you must be careful because there are people out there while you're getting into a relationship who consider alienation, silent treatment, verbal disrespect, never working problems out, all that dysfunctionality, they consider all that to actually be love. And if you get caught in one of those relationships and have invested too much, you can find yourself in a place where you are filled with nothing but silent resentment. And then explosion from silent resentment usually ends badly. Nothing new, I'm going to leave this one right here for now. I can't say may her soul rest in peace. I don't think that will bring any condolences, that will bring any good feeling to anybody who is akin to this case. But I will say those children, I'm heartbroken for them, because especially one is born in Jamaica, the other is born in the US. I don't think their mom and dad even got their footing in the US yet. And I say that because I can tell by where they're living, that's not anybody's dream location to live. So they didn't branch out yet. You know, when you come afar in a little apartment, in a one block, in a community, you know what I'm saying, where gunshot bust regular and whole heap of mad head around the place and thing, and you work hard, and you know, a couple of years down the road, you elevate in a career field, and next thing you know, you move out to the suburbs, get you a nice house. It's much quieter out there. You're a homeowner now, 2 nice vehicles in the driveway and that kind of thing. They didn't reach that stage. They didn't reach that stage. And the children are now left to pretty much fend for themselves. Because one thing I know for sure is, ain't nobody gonna love them kids more than their parents would. If they were good parents. If they were good parents. But then again, you can't have been a good parent. You can't have been somebody who put your child first and then kill the mother of your children and leave your children so young, 10 and 2.5, without a mother. Knowing the consequences is you're not going to walk away from this free. You're going to prison. So who's going to raise your 2 children? The foster system? You just sent them into hell. Have you heard foster system stories? Oh, man. Here's another quick rundown of the same story, right? Daily News brought this one that said the boyfriend was arrested in the stabbing death of a Bronx woman in an apartment that they shared. Some of the information seems off. So, for the surviving family members, please feel free to call our platform or write us at SouFLoTV@gmail.com or call us at 1-806-587-8953. We are in no way trying to, how should we say it now? We are in no way trying to embellish this story for points. Okay, we just want to get the true information out there. And these are major news media houses who are carrying this story in the United States of America. The boyfriend of a Bronx woman stabbed to death in the apartment that they shared has now been arrested. He is in police custody now. Khalil Cooper, 39. He actually turned himself into the police on Monday, and he was charged with murder. This came out the 1st of July, 2025. Charged with murder, manslaughter, weapon possession, and endangering the welfare of a child. He allegedly stabbed Tamara Rowe, who is 40, she's 1 year older than him, at about 8:35 p.m. in the evening, Saturday, inside of their apartment in a 6-story building on East 232nd Street near White Plains Road, where they were living with Rowe's daughter. It says they were living with Rowe's daughter. The previous story said that they have 2 children together. They have a 2.5-year-old and they have a 10-year-old. So, if she is 40 years old and it says they were living with her daughter, why didn't it say that they were living with their daughter? She's 40 years old. She's old enough to have a child who might have been living by herself, who had her own apartment, right? A 20, 21-year-old, depending on when she had a child, 22, 23 even, if she had a child at 17, 18, right? So this is throwing me a little bit off because I guess I'm a detailed kind of person. So I want to know if she had a previous child before she got together with this man who eventually took her life. Anyways, it says that on the day of the offense, after he did what he did, he fled the location, leaving her body still in the bathroom after he stabbed her. And then it says that their 2-year-old daughter was the child that was in the bedroom in the same house when the body was found. So it says they were both living with her daughter, which tells me she has an older daughter who has her own apartment, who was keeping her mom and her boyfriend and her 2 siblings in her apartment. Wow. So the child was there. That was their 2-year-old. Assistant District Attorney Joseph Saputo is the one who put this information out. Said that Roe was wounded in the chest and in the right arm. She was rushed to the medical center where she was pronounced dead. The neighbor was questioned. The neighbor said, "This is very surprising. This is super surprising." The neighbor even gave her name, Cheryl Thompson, 48 years old. She said there was no reason because there was no argument. There was no nothing. Like, they never fight. I've never heard them fight. Wow. You see what I told y'all before about silent resentment? Okay. The police then said that Cooper had no previous arrests, which we said before. His record is clean, no run-ins with the cops. And Cooper acknowledged his family members with a quick glance as he was taken by police officers into a courtroom in the Bronx Criminal Court for his arraignment, where he was ordered held without bail by Judge Harold Barr. 2 of his family members came to court to support him. Cooper's family members told a reporter that we have no comment when they asked what they think about the incident. The building's super, for those of y'all who don't know what a super is, we call them the soup. That's the guy who lived downstairs, usually in the basement or something, has an apartment there in the building. Might ride off your woman if she loose, and he's one of those guys. But mostly he does the cleaning up of the building and fixing of things for as like a building manager, right? So the building super, who gave his name as Andy, and Andy is 57, said that surveillance videos shows the suspect leaving the apartment right before the cops arrived and taking the stairs from their top floor home. It's a 6-story building and they lived on the 6th floor. "This is very hard for me," the super said. "They're very quiet people. They both work very hard, and they were both working very hard. They don't argue. They don't make noise. They're very quiet." According to the Gleaner in Jamaica, Roe worked for a time in the credit department at the Gleaner's North St. office in Kingston, Jamaica. North St. Andrew office, I'm guessing it's saying, or North Street office in Kingston, Jamaica. So he used to work for the Gleaner before migrating to the United States. Roe had 2 children, 11 years old and 2 years old, who are currently in the care of the New York City Administration for Children's Services and in the process of being placed into care of other family members, according to the Gleaner out of Jamaica. So he's even a previous Gleaner employee. That's funny, because, and not funny in a comical way, because recently the story we did about the situation in Florida where the woman ended up taking her husband's life because he was cheating too much, according to her, and she couldn't take it anymore, and they had twins. He's also a former Gleaner employee. He got his life taken by his wife. Over here, you have a former Gleaner employee taking the life of his common law wife. Just a bit of a more up-to-date information to add to what was already said. All right? Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. Khalil Cooper, you're 39. You know better. You let the situation get the best of you. Tomorrow, roll. May God bless your soul. I'm out. Peace.